This is the Washington Times front page for Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. President Trump will lobby Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to normalize relations with Israel when he rolls out the red carpet for the Middle East leader. Tom Howell reports bin Salman is making his first White House visit since the 2018 killing and dismemberment of Jamal Khashoggi, a Saudi dissident journalist, at the Saudi consulate in Turkey. Formal investigations alleged the killing was premeditated with bin Salman's involvement. The Saudis are not receiving a formal state visit from Trump, but they will have a full-day program, including a bilateral meeting, lunch, and a White House dinner. Trump sees Saudi Arabia as the linchpin of his plan to establish better ties between Israel and the Arab world, yet the Saudis have been reluctant, particularly given the concerns about the toll of Israel's war against Hamas and Saudi demands for Palestinian statehood. The years-long political battle over the Epstein files is coming to a head as the House is planning to vote to force the release of the files. Susan Ferricchio reports the vote comes after a discharge petition from Kentucky Republican Thomas Massie and California Democrat Ro Khanna gained the 218 signatures needed to force a floor vote. Over the past several months, President Trump has been battling Democratic claims that he's purposely concealing their release to hide his own wrongdoing. No court records that have been unsealed so far implicate Trump in any crimes connected to Jeffrey Epstein. American universities have reported a 17% drop in new international students after the Trump administration's crackdown on temporary immigration visas. Sean Salai reports that's up from a 7% annual decline last year and the sharpest drop in more than a decade outside the pandemic, according to the nonprofit Institute of International Education. Its report found that more than half the 825 institutions surveyed showed declines in first-time foreign enrollment this fall. Another 29% reported increases, and the rest reported no significant changes. Among those with declines in new international students, 96% cited concerns with visa applications and travel restrictions. The Supreme Court will hear a case asking where the U.S. border begins and whether someone still in Mexico can claim asylum protections that typically only take effect when they reach American soil. Stephen Dinan reports at issue is a Trump administration policy to turn back migrants who show up at border crossings demanding asylum. A lower appeals court ruled that they were on the United States doorstep and that border officers could not block them from entering the country and lodging their asylum claims. The Trump administration argues the lower court's decision makes a mockery of the law granting asylum rights only to those who arrive in the U.S. And finally, a senior U.S. military commander has promoted South Korea as a forward player in U.S.-led efforts in the region to deter and contain China. Andrew Salmon reports Commander of U.S. Forces Korea, General Xavier Brunson, called for a new understanding of South Korea's strategic positioning in the region, especially regarding China. Brunson focused on the location of the Korean Peninsula, the only part of the Asian mainland with U.S. troops stationed there, as a strategic pivot point on the map. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.